All right, y'all. So you're headed into retirement and you want to go ahead and get your house paid off before you guys get into retirement. And so you can have a wonderful, blissful retirement for the rest of your life. And I want to show you something that could make you understand that that could be one of the most costliest things that you could ever do. It's a major mistake that you can do with this money that you got in your 401k to try to pay off a mortgage. Let's get right into the video. Okay, the first issue is going to be, how much money are you talking about paying off your house with? The median home value is about $400,000. And if you want to take $400,000 to pay your house off, say for instance, you've been in that house for some years now, I don't know, 20 years, you got 10 years to go on it, whatever it is to make that balance to be around $200,000. So you got let's just say you got a couple getting ready to retire, and they're in their 60s, early 60s, before 65 even, and they go in and want to take that $200,000 to pay off their mortgage. So they go in and take $200,000 out of their 401k or IRA accounts to pay off this mortgage, and they're going to be debt free. And it sounds good on the surface, but one of the biggest things that's going to be a problem for you is going to be the taxes, primarily the tax bracket that you're in. Take a look at this chart here. Now, this right here is a tax bracket, and if you are a married couple and you guys making about $50,000 each a year, that puts you in $100,000 a year. But by the time you pay get the standard deduction around $30,000, you're gonna have about $70,000 that you're gonna pay taxes on. But when you take money out of your 401k or IRA, that money is considered taxable. It's taxed regular W-2 type taxes, basically the same amount of taxes you pay when you get paid out of your paycheck. That's the same amount of taxes, the rate of taxes that you're going to be paying on your 401k money, minus the FICA. When you take that 401k money out, just say, for instance, you go in to take $200,000 out to pay your mortgage off. That's going to bump your tax bracket all the way up. You'll be at about $270 at that moment. You'll be at $270,000. And you can see the difference that will make for you. This is the married tax bracket. So you're in the 12% tax bracket if you make between $23,000 and $94,300. That's the tax bracket that you are normally be in. And your taxable that you will owe, the taxes that you will owe is about $2,300. That's pretty cheap. But when you go over that amount, you have to go up to the next tax bracket, and that is a huge jump. So you'll go from owing $2,320 in taxes to over $10,000 if you go up to $201,000. So remember, you're going to have to borrow $200,000 to pay your taxes off. So you actually going to get bumped over into the next tax bracket. So, but remember, you need $200,000. So that will put you around $270,000. And you're still in the 24% tax bracket. But the issue is going to be this. Look how much more money that you need to pay off that mortgage, because not only are you going to have to pay off the mortgage, now you're going to have to deal with the $34,000 out of that $200,000. You have to pay an extra $34,000. So you're going to have to get even more money out. And that is going to put you in the next tax bracket. You're going to be over $383,000 because you're going to have to pay the taxes out of that. So just think about it for a second. So if you are at 94, just say if you had made the max, you're at 94,300, but you needed $200,000 to pay the taxes over, they're going to put you over here in the 32% tax bracket. And you're going to need more than that because you're going to have to pay for the taxes that's coming out. So you're going to jump up to over $78,000 in taxes that you're going to have to pay in order to get that mortgage paid off with the 401k. And that is huge. That is a huge jump. Look at it. Look at the $23.20 that you will have to pay with your wages, but because you borrowed enough money or took enough money out to pay off your mortgage, that could bump you all the way up to the 32% tax bracket, and where you are owing or have to pay $78,000 for taking that money out of your account. That is a huge amount of money that you're gonna have to pay. It's just not that simple taking that kind of money out of your IRA or your 401k and paying your taxes, paying your mortgage off. It is just not that simple. So you are going to hit a huge tax bill. That alone should make you not want to do this. And it gets worse. You nearly got to take out $300,000 just to get this $200,000 paid off. And when you talk about putting that kind of money off into the market, I want to show you how much money that you're going to be dealing with that you're going to lose. This is what you're going to lose by taking that kind of money out of your account. Let's look, if you took out $300,000, and this is going to be over the lifetime of your retirement, which could be up to 30 years. If you just got the average 13% return, look how much money that you have amassed just by just leaving that money invested over the lifetime of your retirement. Another thing you need to pay attention to is how much interest that you're going to be saving versus how much money you're going to have to pay just to borrow that money. You're going to be paying more. The taxes that it costs to borrow that money, that tax increase going to that tax bracket is more money than what you would pay, that you would save in interest. You can look at this amortization schedule here. And the way this schedule works, you can look, you pay more of your money that you pay on your mortgage is all paid up front. It's paying more up front. And as you get more longer into your loan, you start paying more on your principal. So you start paying more money to yourself, as you can see. So if you owe about $200,000 and you started off at $400,000, you probably got almost 20 years off into your mortgage and you want to go ahead and pay it off. But look how much money that you are paying in interest versus how much you're paying back to yourself. And it's getting less and less each year. You're paying more and more money on your principal every year. It's like borrowing money to pay yourself off. That is ridiculous. You're going to go ahead and take the tax hit to try to save the little money that you're paying in the interest. And this right here is really crazy, especially when you have a low interest rate loan, like a 3% mortgage. These numbers are even worse. You can't afford to do that. It costs too much money for you to pay that mortgage off. As you can see, the numbers don't lie. Wait, y'all, it gets even worse. If that's not bad enough, it even gets worse because they got this situation. They got this thing when you're about to go on into retirement and you're going to have Medicare. You're going to have to sign up for Medicare. Everybody has to do it at 65. Well, when you take that kind of money out of your account, like I said before, it's taxed at regular income. It's looked at as regular income. So when you get ready to fill out and get on your Medicare, and you got to get parts A, B, and C, D, E, F, whichever ones you get, that is also based off your salary. So when you take that kind of money out, this Medicare is going to seem like you're making $400,000 a year. That's what they're going to base your your coverage of your premiums is going to be based off of that. And that could be astronomical. We're in an environment right now of people paying $2,000 monthly and upwards because of that. You don't want to have that. You don't want to trigger that. That Irma is asleep. Irma sounds like somebody that you don't want to wake up. I don't want to wake nobody up named Irma because they coming out with the switches and belts and whatever. You don't want to wake Irma up. That is not something that you want to do, and that's what you're going to do when you take that kind of money out and pay it. Again, it's a dumb idea to pay it off. So you may know a little bit about the subject, and so you want to pay this off before you retire. You're 62, 63 years old, so you go and try to pay your mortgage off since you're not on Medicare, so you don't worry. Well, unfortunately, Medicare has a 2-year look back. They're going to look at your salary from 2 years ago. So you did this at 64, 63, 62 years old. You did this before you even got on Medicare, but that's what they're going to look back 2 years and hit you. So it has to be done strategically. Like I said, you're about to get a windfall of money, even though it's your own money that you work for years. But, you know, you're going to be able to spend it at will, just pay the taxes on it. But you got to look at the implications that it's going to affect you on how you take this money out. And you don't want to take it out to where it's going to be detrimental to you. That's going to be huge. Financial awareness, not financial advice. One thing that I know that you guys are not going to do is when you get sick, you're not going to go in and operate on yourself. You're not going to go in and do your own dental work. You're not going to go into court, somebody's trying to sue you without a lawyer. All those things would be asinine to do without professional help. And having this kind of money that you have never had before, you don't know how to spend it. Because if you did, you wouldn't be saying certain things like, I'm going to pay my house off. And I know a lot of smart people. I know a lot of smart people who I consider smart that have this notion too. And it's so hard for them to see numbers. They don't see it. But the indoctrination is crazy. Even though you'll get all this evidence in front of you, you will see it. And people are still going to get in the comments and defend their action, defend their views. I'm not trying to tell you this is what you should do. These are the just plain and simple ramifications of doing this stuff. It could be crazy for certain people. Everybody has a different story, but the average American, you're not going to be able to do this. It'll be the wrong thing to do. I'm telling you, you have to take the money out strategically. You want to take it out and stay within that 10%. Maybe you have to starting at 59 and a half, start taking some of this money out, trying to stay up under those caps. You want to take the money out as much as possible up under that cap, because if not, you're going to get hit and it's going to cost you dearly. You're going to lose millions possibly by taking that money out. You don't want that. And since I'm on the subject, you don't want that kind of equity in your house. You don't want that. We are indoctrinated to believe that that's the American dream, and you want this house, and you're all, man, bump that house. I'd rather have $11 million in the bank than a house. You need to sell that thing. I'm sorry, I can't say that, but if I were you, I would sell it. I'm not going to go into retirement with a $600,000 house. Y'all ever heard the term house poor? That's what a lot of Americans are. The stats say there's about roughly 25 million people with a net worth of $1 million in America. That's a lot of millionaires in America got a lot of net worth. But if you take the home values out of the equation, it drops all the way down just to 6. So it lets you know there's a lot of house poor people in here. I'm sorry. You know, some people just got gobs of money and they can pay for their homes, and there's a whole different thing. But the majority of us who are watching this video don't have that kind of money. That is the wrong move. Paying that house off It's the wrong move. And having that kind of equity in that house is the wrong move. You're potentially throwing out millions of dollars. You're throwing away your retirement. And I don't want that for you. This is not financial advice. This is a financial awareness video. I'll see y'all in the next one.